Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Agriculture bill climbs over $6 billion post-Hurricane Beryl. Manchester Health Department seeks external help to contain surge in mosquito population. And later in sports, two-time Olympic champion among Jamaican athletes to train today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kerry-Ann Simpson. Here are the details. Loss caused by Hurricane Beryl in the agriculture and fisheries sector now stands at $6.5 billion. That figure was revealed by the ministry at Wednesday's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee PAAC meeting. As you'll hear in this report, farm supplies distribution has started in affected parishes.
The Ministry of Agriculture says farmers can expect to see extension officers distributing supplies including fertilizers and seeds in their communities this week. Hundreds of farmers have been impacted by Hurricane Beryl, with loss and damage to farms estimated at $6.5 billion, a figure which is climbing with each passing week.
That $6.5 billion would have contemplated some $5.4 billion for crops, livestock, farm infrastructure. In addition to that, it would have contemplated an additional billion or so for the fisheries sector alone. And what we're talking about there is the volume of traps and fishing nets, and some boats were damaged.
It is that level of loss which sparked immediate concern among stakeholders that the country could face a food shortage. Permanent Secretary Dermot Spence said this was considered, which is why they gave a clear directive to farmers.
The strategy is immediately following the hurricane damage, whatever can be salvaged from the field need to be salvaged. That in terms of reaping. We had encouraged before that person should reap what is close to maturity so we can have food sustainability and the farmer can recover something.
The Agriculture Ministry said it is seeking additional funding from the Finance Ministry, but has already set aside $700 million from its own budget to undertake various types of repair, recovery and rebuilding work.
That $700 million is broken out with $150 million that will go directly to the members of Parliament, targeting those areas that are impacted. Of course, with the lion's share going to Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Clarendon. That will be issued through RADA.
Emergency protocols are also being utilized to speed up the process to get help to farmers and fishers. Hal Shane Burke, TVJ News.
A dispute between the National Irrigation Commission (NIC) and local truckers has left some residents in St. Elizabeth without access to water. The truckers, who rely on the NIC's facilities to fill up their tanks and transport water to the communities, claim they are being blocked. According to the truckers, the NIC has been prioritizing its own trucks, preventing them from accessing the water source when it's their turn. Now, the situation escalated when NIC workers allegedly took control of the pump and locked the facility.
It's a political football they have the water play, and then don't want give the private truck no water. Every time for them to come, they make for them to load and we have to wait for them. 5 trucks them have a load. And they have to come out. The empty
so even if you did they are full and the truck come, you have to come out. Since when that start?
Since Monday morning.
So they can't get a drop of water, and if they even give a little water, if they even give the people them water, they don't have to carry the pan come right at the roadside. Come get them jump on. So all who live in the back still can't get a drop of water.
TVJ News has since learned that Agriculture Minister Floyd Green has since intervened in the dispute. The Manchester Health Department says it's facing a significant challenge controlling the surge in the mosquito population across the parish following Hurricane Beryl. Chief Public Health Inspector Charmaine Palmer-Cross says the department has had to increase its fleet, engage private pest control services, and hire additional workers to combat the issue. Mrs. Palmer-Cross says in one household there were over 40 drums of stagnant water, a breeding ground for mosquitoes. She's urging residents to take protective measures such as eliminating stagnant water and using insect repellents. The public health inspector also emphasized the importance of monitoring children during the summer holidays to prevent them from coming in contact with contaminated water. Residents are also being urged to treat health workers with respect as they work to address the mosquito surge. Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Audley Gordon, revealed that the agency has been able to put a dent in high volume of bulky waste across the Portmore municipality within an hour after the National Bulky Waste and Garbage Cleanup Program was launched Tuesday. He pointed out there were over 100 derelict vehicles scattered across Portmore. However, he believes only continued public education campaigns coupled with the program will help rid the municipality of pests.
So far since morning we have moved 6 loads of bulky waste already and 300 and odd cars that were identified for removal, derelict cars. 10 of them has been removed since morning already. So the work will continue apace over the next week into 2 weeks to ensure that we clean all the bulky waste possible out of the space. This is a national recovery, so obviously we are going right across the island.
The Northeast Regional Health Authority is reporting a decrease in maternal deaths. The authority says it will also be strengthening its community health aid. As hospitals across the island continue to struggle with the challenge of maternal death, the Northeast Regional Health Authority is reporting a decrease in the number of maternal deaths. Dr. Patrick Whittle is Regional Technical Director at NERA.
In 2022, of the 4,161, we had 7 maternal deaths. And in 2023, of the 3,371, we had 6 maternal deaths.
He said despite the slight decline, the health authority has been working to further lower that figure.
Our program within the region is one, trying to encourage mothers to come to our facilities early and be consistent with the visits. And that's very important. Within our region, we have what you call high-risk clinics. So when we assess these mothers, we would then refer them to high-risk clinic or high-risk clinics to ensure that they receive the best care.
Dr. Whittle, however, shared that there are some instances where mothers present themselves with conditions that may put them at higher risk, which many times result in death.
We do have within our system a review where we go through what has taken place throughout. We identify the gaps and we put systems in place as best as possible to eliminate those gaps. So this is somewhat ongoing.
It is why he says the authority will be strengthening community health aid. Carrier. The Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs will be hosting a town hall meeting at Emancipation Park this evening. Speaking on Smile Jamaica Thursday, Legal Education Officer Ivan Godfrey says it's geared at providing updates to the public on the way forward on Jamaica becoming a republic.
Contrary to previous, like the webinars where we are the host and so on, it will actually be most of or all of the members of the Constitutional Reform Committee. Okay. So all the persons who sat down for those over 40 meetings, those over 80 sensitizations and interactions to prepare the report, they'll be there and they'll be advising the public of what the contents of the report are while also getting their feedback.
He, however, says a timeline has not been set as to when the process will be completed.
There are several moving parts. So where we are now is that there is a ministry paper, which is the report, that has to inform the drafting of a bill that now goes before Parliament. The Constitution itself stipulates to you how a provision is to be amended. So after being laid before the Parliament, the bill has to stay there for 3 months before it can be debated. And after it is debated, it has to be there for 3 months before it can be voted on. And then it has to go to the Senate. The minister has also indicated that there's going to be a joint select committee.
It's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. A 17-year-old boy has been arrested and charged with incest and rape of his 5-year-old sister in Brownstown, St. Anne. The teenager was taken into custody by detectives from the Center for Investigation of Sexual Offences and Child Abuse, SOCA. According to reports, the teen was often left in charge of his younger siblings when their mother ran errands. It's alleged that he inappropriately touched his sister on multiple occasions, with the most recent incident occurring on July 12 when he sexually molested her while bathing her. The matter was reported to the police and he was arrested. The teenager appeared in the Brownstown Children's Court on Tuesday and is scheduled to return on September 3. The court has also ordered a psychiatric report. The 5-year-old victim is currently receiving treatment in hospital. A man was shot dead in Caledonia Courts along Caledonia Road in Mandeville around 11 p.m. Wednesday night. The victim has only been identified as Davy. Patrons at a bar reported hearing explosions. The dead man's body was found laying face down on a flight of steps outside. The police are investigating. Now, this is the 5th murder in Manchester in the past 2 weeks. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The company's Office of Jamaica says it will be offering more online services by the end of this financial year. Currently, customers can only complete new company and business registrations online. The COJ says by March 2025, it will be able to accommodate more online options such as renewal services. New company customers will have the option of filing annual returns virtually. The COJ has also introduced artificial intelligence in its customer relations processes in a bid to reduce wait times. Further afield, Ford shares dropped more than 11% during after-hours trading on Wednesday. This move in reverse came after the automaker reported weaker than predicted earnings. Officials at the company said they will have to earmark more money to help cover the expenses needed to repair vehicles. Ford didn't specify the amount needed for these warranty expenses. Despite this economic news, Ford said it is making progress in product quality. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Hal Shadeberg.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Ghana police seized 28 firearms, including handguns and high-powered rifles, along with a cache of ammunition during an intelligence-led operation yesterday. 6 people have also been arrested. According to reports, a police team went to the home of a clothes vendor, where a search was carried out and 3 firearms and several rounds of ammunition were discovered. A vehicle parked in the vicinity of the premises was searched, and the remaining 25 weapons were recovered from a suitcase and a golf bag that were inside the vehicle. The firearms, ammunition, and magazines were taken to the ballistic section for examination. On the international scene, Philippine authorities are rushing to contain an oil spill from a capsized ship as Typhoon Gami hit the island. The ship sank in the Manila Bay while carrying 1.5 million liters of industrial fuel, prompting fears that it could be the worst oil spill in Philippine history, if not contained. Meanwhile, rescuers in Taiwan are scouring waters off its southern coast for 9 crew members of a sunken cargo ship. Typhoon Gami has killed 13 people and injured hundreds more. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Shane Masters.
Thanks, Shane. We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.